Last month, the Watertown School Committee supported a motion to resurface the synthetic turf at Victory Field for the first time since it was installed in 2011. During the February 28th City Council meeting, residents spoke passionately for more than 2 hours on both sides of the issue of whether to continue using those turf materials. And WCA News Director Dan Hogan joins us now with the latest on this hot-button issue.
After over 2 hours of public comment and statements from city officials, the Watertown City Council eventually approved a $1.5 million bond on Tuesday night to pay for the resurfacing of the Victory Field turf. The playing surface, used by school teams and residents alike, will remain synthetic turf, but will use a new type of material that officials say is more organic.
The field has been in use for about 12 years. Is outlived its useful life, and we have worked with our consultant Time Bond to see what is the best practice, most sustainable practice available, what is the best technology available.
Coaches, parents, and student athletes made passionate statements about the necessity of a turf at Victory Field, saying a natural grass field just can't support the volume of games and practices that need to happen on that field throughout the year.
I'm sure the baseball team does not want to go back to playing on that outfield where every blade of grass was torn up from the repeated use of the football team.
This is a major disadvantage to my team. When we're in the tournament, when we're playing on the oval, a lot of times we were the higher seed, and I wanted to play at the opposing team's field because they had turf.
If this grass field passes, we would be the only school in the Middlesex League that uses grass fields as their main playing field.
A large number of residents opposing the turf spoke about the environmental and health risks of synthetic turf fields, saying such material has been linked to thyroid diseases and even cancer.
Synthetic turf cannot be made without using the forever chemicals known as PFAS, or per and polyfluoroalkyl substances. PFAS chemicals are linked to thyroid disorders, ulcerative colitis, cancers, and immune dysfunction. According to the EPA, there are no safe levels of PFAS.
These are called forever chemicals because they are persistent and live in your body for years and years.
Be aware of signs related to heat exhaustion and dehydration as it gets hot, and those fields will still get hot, and take necessary precautions.
Now, this crumb rubber infill that currently coats Victory Field is actually made from recycled tires. Now, the point of the infill is to provide sort of a cushion so that when athletes fall onto the field, they don't sustain serious injuries. Now, this crumb rubber will soon be replaced by Brockfill, which officials say is a more organic material that is actually derived from sand and white pine. Officials also say that this material will make the field cooler in the summer months compared to the crumb rubber. The synthetic turf debate is not new in Watertown. Similar concerns were raised when Buckingham Brown and Nichols School developed plans for 2 turf ball fields on Grove Street that opened in 2022. City manager George Proakis, who came to Watertown after those fields opened, admits he was surprised at the discourse created by the proposed resurfacing, but maintained that using artificial turf is the only way to give Watertown's student athletes the space they need to play games and practice.
If we were to remove this turf field and replace it with a natural grass, organically run field, we could not operate the sports on it that we are operating right now.
Ultimately, the City Council voted 6-3 in favor of proceeding with the bond order to resurface the field. Councilors Bays, Gardner, and Palumba voted no.
Our community has repeatedly committed itself to sustainability and a healthy environment. I feel that installing new artificial turf is not consistent with those values.
As much as we might all want to say no more plastic for any reason, it's just not realistic. It's like saying no gas starting tomorrow.
To me, unfortunately, I'm supporting this wholeheartedly because we don't have another choice, and I think it's the right thing to do for the city of Watertown and the right time to do it.
Both opponents and supporters of this motion want proof that the current field will be recycled properly. Construction on the new field will happen this summer and be ready in time for the fall season. During the upcoming spring season, the Watertown High School baseball team will be the primary user of Victory Field. The Watertown boys and girls lacrosse teams, which would usually call Victory Field home, will play the majority of their spring games over on Grove Street at those Buckingham, Brown, and Nichols fields, which shares the fields with the city of Watertown. Reporting from Victory Field, Dan Hogan, Watertown Cable News.